All right, everyone, we're at the dive spot. Today is a special day. We're going for white sea bass.
Yeah.
3 divers today. That's pretty much what we max out at when we go after white sea bass. Gotta stay stealthy in the water. Yeah, just gotta be stealthy. Be around the kelp. Look for an opening. Look for those ghosts. Spear them, and then bring them up the hill. Let's go get them.
Ghostbusters.
What you got there, Devin?
All right, well, I picked up a cool sticker from Blue Tuna, Spearfishing. It's a dive shop in Ventura. And it has a sticker of that exact length for the legal size of a white sea bass, 28 inches.
28 inches.
Well, we're aiming for something bigger.
Oh, definitely.
But if I see one this size, I'm definitely shooting it because I haven't caught one yet.
It's gonna be a day. Let's go get it.
Let's get it.
It was a beautiful day for a dive. As you can tell, the surf was about a foot. Here my dive buddies Devin and Kay going out. Really nice, calm conditions. Don't have to worry about getting slammed on any rocks or at least any real danger. Putting on the fins, and once you have one fin on or both, you swim out past the brakes as quickly as possible. What I like to do is put on one, swim out past the brakes if I don't have enough time, and then once I'm past the brakes, put on my second fin and then go to safety. So here's a little in-depth view of what I do. What I typically like to do is grab my fins, foot pockets facing away from shore, and make sure it's hydrodynamic, meaning I try not to make my fins into a sail to get pulled out from my hands and lose my fin. So I try to be very conscious of that. As I'm putting on one fin, what I'll do with my other foot that is not getting the fin put on, I'll support it underneath, kind of like a floor, and then I'll use my finger to slip my foot into the fin. And if I have to get past the surf quickly, what I'll do is, like you see here, hold one fin and my spear gun and swim past the surf. Once I get to a point where it's in a relatively safe area, I'll put the second fin on with much less stress. I found that this is much more useful and helpful than trying to put both fins on in a very sketchy area. Here I'm using a Mana spear gun with a Tech barrel. This is a 100. I love this spear gun setup. You load it up here, and what I like to do, you notice, is I don't put my hands off the bands. So I go from hip, put it on the assist shark fin, and then I move it up to my right pec. My technique is typically you put it right on the center of my pec and then pull it the rest of the way. If you don't like to do that, you can put it right under, not on your sternum, but right below, and then pull it the rest of the way. You can see it loaded here, and it is ready to go out on the water. So as we dive down here, you can see our California state fish. This is the Garibaldi. It is protected. You cannot spear it. And they know it, so they'll come up to you, get really, really friendly with you. But they're very noticeable, look like giant goldfish out when you're out on the water. But you can see conditions are pretty nice. A little bit of surge, but a little bit of murk overall. But overall, a great time to be on the water. You might notice this is my other setup here that I lost, unfortunately, but my Gull Vader mask and the Gull Stable snorkel. And I'm going here, this little POV of how I typically like to dive. We are going for white sea bass, so what that means is staying stealthy, quiet as possible, and going through the mid column is typically what I like to do. Try to be very, very stealthy, limited kicks. And when I'm going through the kelp, like you see there, try to create as little disturbance as possible as you're going through. So even when it's moving kelp out of the way, try to move around it, then through it, if that makes sense. So I'm just scanning, and I'm not trying to scan too aggressively, meaning no rapid head movement to scare off any fish. This is my dive buddy Devin going down. And we're taking turns, staying close by, and just really trying to be stealthy here. And the rule is, if you're going for white sea bass, you want to be stealthy, and in that stealth, you're avoiding spearing fish that you may normally spear. So for example, like sheephead, perhaps some opali or whatever it is. The rule of thumb within our group, at least, is it better be a good reason for you to pull that trigger if it's not a white sea bass. So it better be a large sheephead, large calico, something notable, right? So to not blow everyone's cover. So we try to be really stealthy here, very selective on what we fish, and stay very, very quiet. So we're trying to be very discreet and deliberate with our finning, everything trying to be much more quiet than we normally are. And those of you curious about my GoPro or action cam setup, I do use a DJI Action 5, and I have that quick release mount on my head. It's a head strap that I put inside the wetsuit. The wetsuit keeps it steady, and also I clip it in and out of the mount using the quick release finger tabs. That's how I get angles like these. As I'm going down, what I typically like to do is put my spear gun to my waist, so the muzzle is close to my head when I'm going down. Obviously here, I'm trying to navigate, equalizing and handling everything with one hand. And it's the sit and wait game. So if we're not going through the mid column very quietly, try to swim all the way to the bottom. Just stay quiet, and I'm scanning that mid column, and that's where they typically like to sit. The white sea bass typically are roaming through the mid column, not necessarily on the way seafloor, but kind of in that mid lower area, typically like to sit. I have seen them on the top as well. So here we are. Here's Dive Buddy K going down, staying very stealthy, very quiet on the bottom, scanning, no major big subtle movements. And as he scoots forward, making very discreet and kind of meaningful kicks, as almost just as much as he needs to kick. And that's about it. No white sea bass today, but what I do is before I head in, I unload my spear gun. Typically I like to kind of let it go a little bit closer to the muzzle, but in that case I just kind of let it go. So similar to diving, heading out from shore, here's a little in-depth POV of what I'm doing. Right hand is protecting my face from any rocks. In this case the surf is pretty mild, so not too worried here, but always good to be safe because the rock heights in this spot vary quite a bit. So I look back, I'm always checking the surf when it's coming in. I find a good spot where it seems a little bit more flat, and I take off one fin just to prepare to stand up, and I swim a little bit closer, and I'm primarily using my hand to kind of pull myself forward versus kicking because my knees may hit the rocks. Once I take both fins off, I try to pick a spot where I can stand up, probably I would say about waist. The water is about waist level, maybe torso perhaps, but about waist. And I stay down on the water, so I'm kind of walking like bear crawling, if you will. I could stand up and start walking with both my feet, but I've noticed that when I do that, it's a lot of pressure on my legs. You don't know where you're stepping necessarily. There could be a hole or something in this grass. So I'm climbing, I'm kind of walking like a tripod. At this point, I'm using my knuckles with the hand that has the spear gun to kind of guide and protect me. And once I get to a point where I'm really, really close to about maybe water up to my shins, or my knees, then I stand up and finish the rest of the way on 2 feet. And the whole point of this is to make yourself as light as possible. You're using the water to keep yourself and like less stress on your feet and your arms. So I found that to be very helpful. Keep your mask on, and once you take it off in an area that you think is safe, then put it down to your neck, because if you put it above your forehead, get knocked down, you'll probably lose it. But here's some general stats from the dive. But yeah, no fish on this trip, but hope this video was helpful for those of you that shore dive often, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.